Hi, I'm Niraj Chandak, working in NSO Core Function Pack team at Cisco, and today I'm going to show you some cool features of NSO Developer Studio. These are the extensions which we have developed on top of Visual Studio Code. Agenda is pretty simple. We'll have some introduction slides and we'll try to answer basic questions. Why do we need these tools? What are these tools? How to use them? So we'll have a demo. Tools are essential part of every work, every industry. Even in networking and software, we use a lot of tools every day. Choosing right tools make job easier, provide better learning options, training options, overall increase the efficiency and promote the productive environment. So today we are going to talk about the tools which we are going to use to develop anything on top of NSO, and that anything could be like writing a simple template, Yank file, service point action points, or entire NSO package. So let's get started. When we do develop anything with programming language like Python, Java, we get a lot of IDE support. But for when we develop anything with NSO, we do some specific things. We need to access the CDB, write at particular node, get the XPath or XML config. So Explorer will help with that. And we need to write the Yank file, templates, service point action points in Java or Python. So IDE will help with that. Why do we need these tools? I just have one slide for this just to explain the idea behind it. Uh, the screenshot shows a package offer status error, unknown processing instruction. Any guess why this could happen happened? Here is a template for reference. Line number 53 is highlighted. So if we look carefully, expand is misspelled. And we will come to know only when we check the offer package status. So typically how developer works, make his code changes, reload the package or restart the NSO, load the config and eagerly try to see the working version of his code. And if anything goes wrong, first thing he will check is logs. So we don't always go and check the package offer status. So it takes time to even figure out this error. Uh, in fact, this is like a syntax error, so should have been caught then and there itself. So definitely tools will help in such situation. So what is it that make developer to stuck, and how we can help him to avoid such situations? And why VS Code? It's very popular, widely used. It supports multiple programming languages, extensions, guides are well documented, supports language protocol, easy to write extensions. It has integrated support for the common tools, CI/CD tools, in product support for source control. So for Git, it shows on which branch you are on. So collaboration is easy. And it has tons of extensions for programming languages, remote development. So it was overall good choice for us. So what we offer is with Explorer, we can access the CDB in an entirely different way, and ID provide a integrated environment for software development. These two actually help to address the steep learning curve for the beginners and guide the developer at each and every stage of an NSO service development. So what Explorer offers is we can connect to any running instance of NSO, local or remote once authenticated, and we can browse the entire CDB data, config, operation, actions. We can capture the XML config, get the XPath key path of particular node. We can run the actions. And next two features are recently added uh, in latest release. So the way we load merge on CLI, we can directly load merge into the Explorer. And the way we execute set command to set any node or change any node in the CDP tree, that also we can do from the Explorer. And as we talk about the changes, uh, definitely there are options to either revert it or commit it. And it also has a view for transaction data changes, something like show compare, which we have in CLI. And what IDE offers is we can create NSO package, either Python or Java. We can create the service point, action points from Yank files using simple UI wizards. It commonly uh, used code is this tool's pre-populates it. So it's easy to even start with. Uh, it's fairly simple to write templates in Yank file using these tools. So it dramatically speed up the writing time of these files. So very helpful for templates and Yang file. And as with VS Code, it provides all ID features like autocomplete, navigation, refactoring, syntax highlighting. So overall, it helps to speed up the development and provide faster feedback on the mistakes. And we are in a process of developing nano service viewer. This is not released yet, but we would like to show you the preview of it. And So work is still going on, but we are open for the feedbacks. So what we are going to see today is these many features of Explorer and ID. And in my setup, I have a couple of NetSim devices. And let's say we want to push some configs. Let's say this BGP config on the devices. Obvious choice, we will use NSO. And to push this config, we'll write something on top of NSO. Let's say we'll write a router service package. And to write this package, we will use Visual Studio Code with our extensions. Uh, so let's see this in action. So this is the welcome screen of Visual Studio Code. Let me first show you how to install the extensions. View and extension shortcut is Control Shift X. And here you can search for pretty much any extension on the VS Code. So if we type NSO, the first two are the extensions what we offer. So I already have ID installed. That's why button is not there. As soon as I installed Explorer, on left hand side menu bar, NSO icon will appear. And these extensions come with a README. It has a prerequisite, what setup steps are needed, information about the features what it supports, and link to NSO developer guides. And even in the documents, we have uh, documented information about the developer studio. It has the change log, what's changed in recent versions and all, uh, and link to marketplace of Visual Studio Code. So our extension is installed. So if we click on it, it says add NSO instance. So pretty much same steps are documented even here. So let me just click on it, uh, say edit settings, and in VS Code, control space is our shortcut for everything like auto populate and all. We can use control space. So it gives us what all values are supported. So we can just type these values. For now, I will copy from my backup just to save some time. And as soon as I save this, on left hand side Explorer window, you can see the CDP is connected. So this is nothing but the all top level Yang elements. So if I go in NCS CLI and show tab, this is what it shows in the Explorer view. And we can navigate to any of the lower node. Like we can go to packages and check the package. Let me start explaining by explaining the top buttons first. So it shows which NSO instance we have connected. Uh, First button is refresh, just to fetch the latest CDP changes. Second is to choose which NSO instance to connect. Next is filter data. So let's say we want to inspect our setup. So mostly we will see is packages and devices. So let me just select those two nodes and those two will appear. So if I expand, I have just one NAID package and devices. I have two devices. Next is mode button. Here we have some options like hides particular data or show config data only. So if I select, packages will go away as it's all operational data. Uh, the next five buttons are recently added in newer version. The next three are commit, transaction changes, and rollback. So to explain them, let me show you something else first. Let me close other windows. Uh, so when we take mouse pointers on any of the CDB nodes, uh, it actually provides multiple options on right hand side. Delete, XML, I, and plus. So delete is like just to delete the node. The changes are indicated by red cross icon. And in transaction view, it reflects what it has been changed. So we can just revert or commit this change. So maybe from top button or the revert button we have, in transaction commit changes. So I'll revert this change. Next is we can just copy the XML config of this entire node. So let's say device 1 we copied, we get the entire payload of this node. And next we have I button. Here we can copy the XPath key path of the node. Uh, and let me uncheck my mode buttons. So there are few places where triangular button is there. These are actions. So if I just click on this triangular button, and I can try to just execute the action. So I am executing connect action on device 1. So submit, and device is failed to connect. So we can even try to debug this. These are just netsim devices what I have. So as soon as they are as long as they are started and we give correct port and IP, those should connect. I have 3 devices. This is the information. So IP address is correct. Let's verify the port. For that, we can just navigate to port, or we can take a help of our next button, which is XPath tools. So here I can just give the XPath if we already have, and Explorer will automatically take me to that particular node. Uh, if that path does not exist, it will take to the most closest parent node, which resolves to that XPath. And here port is 12023, which is the netcon port. I should have given CLI port, so we need to change it. uh, CLI is option we generally being used, but we don't even need to go to CLI. We can just do plus, give the new value, enter. Changes are reflected in transaction view, and we can just commit the changes. Uh, Let me show you one more thing before we execute connect action again. The last button which we have is to load merge the payload. So we can just copy our payload here or open the file. I have 3 NetSim devices, so let me load merge the uh, third device. So let me go to my NCS run directory, and I have my uh, third device router 2. I will click on submit, and all the changes are reflected in CDB Explorer. Like new additions are plus green icon, deletions are red cross buttons, and we can just commit these changes. So device is added. We can, as new devices being added, we can just do the fetch host SSH keys. Let me go to the action, submit, all keys are fetched, and now we can go to connect action. Either we can navigate to connect, or I can just change the X path here, action path, and submit the action. And we can see all of our devices are now connected. Uh, so this is pretty much we have in Explorer, and these options are really helpful even when we develop anything in NSO. Like we need to access the NSO during our development. So let me go to ID once. NSO. Oh, I already had. So next important place I want to show is command palette. Again, view and command palette. So here most of the functionality of VS Code is available. It's settings, shortcuts, or options provided by all extensions. So if we type NSO here, it provides all the options like open existing package, add files, Python, Yang, templates, or make package. If I click on make package, it will show me options Java and Python. I'll click on Java. We have Python package creation demo last year's developer days, and whatever steps I have performed are just mentioned here, like command palette, select the package, make Java package, and then wizard will open and we need to fill up the details. So I think let's start with the package creation. So I'll give maybe router service as my package name. Location, maybe I will select my NCS run directory and packages folder, select Java package name, maybe I'll give com.example.router. Java class name, maybe I'll give router service RFS. Namespace, maybe I will give cisco.com/router. Prefix router, yang version 1.1 or 1.1, 1.0 or 1.1, and NSO installation is my sourced NSO. So this is the nothing but the NCSTR environment variable value. And then it says as soon as we click the create package, uh, a new VS Code editor should open. So let's see if it happens. If I click on create package, a new window is open. So this is the NSO package being created. Let me show you this way. So this is the folder structure. So this is our NSO package. uh, if I show you package metadata, the callback is already been created and added in here. In src yang, one yang file is created, router service yang. It has a name, service point already registered, device leaf list, and one sample test action. So let's say if we don't have the service point, or if we have our own yang, it provides an option on top of list to add the service points. So it will automatically create the callback and add the service point in yang file. We have a Java file also created, Java callback. It has a create callback, and generally from create callback we apply the template. So some code is pre-populated, and it also has the action point. And pretty much like for action points, we generally construct the XML param structure that's also pre-populated. There is an error about the namespace because namespace are imported, but we have not compiled the package yet. Let me compile the package first. Make clean all, and as soon as I compile, the classes, uh, Java classes will start appearing, FXs will get compiled, and this is our complete NSO package. Uh, so I think we can start writing our package. So what we wanted to do is push our BGP config on this device, right? So this is the BGP config we wanted to push on router. Let me keep that config on the sides, that way we can refer it and I won't make any mistakes during live demo. Uh, so what fields we will need to add in service yang? So first thing is we give AS number. So maybe I'll keep name device list as is, and I will write leaf, and control space is our shortcut. Here it gives me the NSO yang leaf and it gives me the information. If I just click on enter, it automatically populate this structure. So I'll give AS number in type, maybe I'll give int. I don't have to remember everything. I just do int control space. It shows me all the options. In fact, AS number is unsigned integer. I can just give unsigned as well. Even if I don't remember the type, control space is our shortcut. So I'll just select it. The next is WRF list. So again, the same I'll do is use control space, our shortcut, and it shows the information about the NSO list. And if I click on it, it automatically populates this structure. So I don't need to type everything. So our verb list, and list has a key name. Uh, just to save some time, I will copy some of the structure from my backup. I will show you exactly what I've been copying. So I have copied from RD to neighbor remote as this much structure. And here I get the error. Why? Because it says type is missing. If I uncomment it, it should go away. Oh, still error. String. I'm using Java too much. String is small in the Yang. So it gives me instant feedback if I make any syntax error. In fact, IP is a IP address. Like we can even give the type as IP address. Anyone remember its type? Something inet colon. Generally, we need to search in Yang file somewhere to find the type. Here, we can just to control space. It gives all the options which we have. So maybe I will select IPv4 address and save. So the next remaining structure is address family IPv4 unicast. Wait a minute, this structure is actually just repeating under verb2. What should we do? Should we just copy this structure again as is inside neighbors, or is there a better way to do it? There is. We can use Yang groupings. So instead of adding this structure here, we can go up and add a grouping, and maybe I will give name address family grouping, and I'll just copy my structure here, and I will go in verb, and here I will say uses and control space. It shows me all the groupings available in this yang and all imported yangs, and I'll just add my grouping. Before I write next thing, let me show you one option. So ID internally uses this Yangster extension, which provide this beautiful option to open a Yang file in a diagram. So this is our Yang file uh, diagrammatic view. So it has everything like what we have imported. If we click on particular node, it navigates me to that node in the Yang file. Uh, it shows me the grouping. If I take to the grouping, it's showing me one reference because we just use the grouping. So if I go to the neighbor and add my grouping here to uses address family grouping, it dynamically changed the structure, and now if I go to the grouping, it shows me the two references. I click on the references, it shows me the places where all these references are being used. This feature is really helpful because generally when we make changes in Yang or groupings, we need to search all the places where that grouping is being used. Here it's visible in no time, like just available there itself. uh, I think our Yang file is ready. This is what we wanted to push overall entire config. So we have whatever we wanted to push in the Yang file included. So let's hit the service code. Uh, so in service, let's say I think I missed to show you template. So it also creates a template with comment and config for the device. So we will just push config on the device, and in our Yang file, device is a left list. So let's say we want to apply the template once per device. So we will iterate in the service on the device. So maybe I will write for each string, maybe device and service dot leaf list. I don't have to give hard coded value because namespaces are already included. I can just use the namespaces, and okay, it says it returns the conf value, so I don't need to use a string here. It's a conf value, and I'll just move template application code inside this loop, and I will use this device value here to string, and I will give relevant name to this variable device. I think this is what we need in callback, and I will use this variable name in the template. Uh, with ID, even writing XML files is pretty simple because it provides automatic typing as well. So if we do router and close the tag, it just creates the ending tag. So to write the template, we need to know the Yang structure of node. The way we knew the device config, let me just copy the node Yang structure on the sides when we write the template. That way we can refer it, and I won't make any mistakes in live demo. Okay, so we have a router. So just to save some time, I will copy couple of elements from my backup. I have a BGP instance being copied, and verb is a list. So we need to iterate over it. So what we could do is use for each, and in expression verb. Uh, So adding these comments in the end block is really helpful because generally the size of template grows. If we have multiple such for if conditions, uh, after a while it's hard to identify which end tag is for which node. So this is really helpful. And then we can again populate, write the RD and address family. So let me just copy that part from my backup to save some time. So I will copy RD address family, and under verb we need to give verb name, so that I will write as a verb name. We wanted to append the verb with our service name, so maybe we'll take a variable for that. So what I will do is I will create set variable. Here I'll give a service, and value of that variable is the name of the service. Maybe we want to add many variables, so I'll give some comment for this variable, and I will use, let me use service name, this variable in here, service hyphen name of the verb. Now if I take my mouse pointer, it shows me the comment which I have given to this variable. And it makes me wonder what it shows for the device. It shows the external. That means this variable is not defined in the template. So user should have been defined it in a callback. And the same way, we can add for each for the neighbors as well. Wait a minute. I think I missed to add verb here. Let me add verb and ending tag. Yeah. Yeah, now the same way as a verb, we can add a for each for the neighbor as well, because neighbor is again a list in our Yang model. Before we add that, again the same observation, address family IPv4 unicast is repeating under the ned Yang as well. So what should we do? Repeat the structure again in template. In Yang model we used grouping. What should we do in template? Is there a better way to do it? There is. We can use macro. So I can go in template and write a macro address. I'll give a name address family macro. It's giving me error, and it says macro can only be defined at root level. So I need to take it at root level. Faster feedback on mistakes. And I can just copy the address family structure inside this macro and come back under the verb and use expand macro, address family macro. And now we can use same macro from the neighbors as well. So let me copy uh, neighbor loop from my backup just to save some time. And under verb we have for each for neighbors. Let me just indent it. Yeah. And it's giving me error because it says macro does not exist. Macro name is address family macro. Faster feedback on mistakes. uh, and I think we are pretty much done in our template. Is there anything else needs to be done? Wait a minute. I have macro defined. If I look at my expand here, the context is verb, and here directly I am starting from redistribute. So actually, my XPath should have been something like address family slash IPv4 slash unicast, and then I need to use this XPath for all the nodes inside this macro. Should we just copy this for all the nodes? It might even go out of the screen if we have a bigger yank tree. Is there a better way to do this? There is. We can set the context. So here I can say set context node and set this path till unicast, and then for the following nodes I don't need to give path entire path. I can just give relative to the this context. So context is nothing but the next XPath expressions will be evaluated relative to this path, and its scope will be the till context is changed to something else or its parent node is closed. And under redistribute, I think I missed to give static. So let me add a if condition for redistribute slash static, and then let me create a static. Oh, let me create a static node. So static is an empty leaf in Yang, uh, even in our service Yang and ned Yang. So if it's there, we'll just create it. And I think yes, our template is done. Let me compile the package. So let me compile make hyphen c src clean all, and package is compiled. And let me restart my NSO. I will do nca stop and nca start with maybe package reload force. Our NSO is started. Let's check the package offer status. And it shows error in template. Line 30, unknown element router. Router. Any guess why this could have been happened? Because router is in ned namespace, not in the device namespace. So we need to change the namespace here. How can we get the namespace? Do we need to search somewhere in Yang file maybe? Or we can get it in Explorer itself. By default, device must have some default configuration. So, and we can copy the XML payload from Explorer. So I can just get the payload, and in XML payload, we must have namespace somewhere. So I got the namespace and I will just paste it here, and I can reload the package. It's just a template change. Now our package is up. Let me load merge the payload. I will do is load merge demo.xml and commit dry run. So this is my payload. I'm creating router service BGP, pushing on two devices 0 and 1. AS number 200 verb, and config is getting pushed on device 0, and config is getting pushed on device 1. Let's commit it. Commit is done. Let's verify the config at least on one of the device. H router 0 config router, and config is in. So our package worked, and we developed this package entirely in VS Code. Next, let me show you a preview of Nano Service Viewer. For that, I will open my another project where I have uh, some nano yang files. So this is plan.yang is a simple nano plan, and each nano plan outline will have a option to open it in a viewer, and it looks something like this. So I can expand the component. It shows me whether it has a callback and preconditions or post conditions, post actions. uh, if I add new state here, the it will change dynamically in the viewer. I can give create. If I add my callback along with a create callback, if I add a delete callback, that's been highlighted using red icon instead of green. Let me show you a real example which I have, which is a VNF yank file. It has a self component, VNF, videos, and device managed or unmanaged. And if I just go to one of the component VNF and instantiate, it has pretty much everything like preconditions, nano callback, post action. And those are highlighted here. Like it has a precondition, it has a callback, it has a post action. Again, in delete, it has a delete precondition, delete callback, and delete post action. So this is how it looks like. And we have one more view for a behavior tree in Nano. So it looks something like this. Again, here changes are reflected. So maybe if I make my changes maybe in plan location, uh, it will appear on the UI. So let me divide it. And for selector, right now it opens another window where we can give the show the variable and components. Again, the changes appearing here. Let's say if I give device as a variable, will be visible in Nano Viewer. Uh, so yeah, this is what we have in Nano Viewer. Team is still working on it to make it more useful somewhere, and let us know your feedbacks on this. Let me go back to my slides. So we have done with demo. What I have next is roadmap. So these are a few points we have in our roadmap, like nano service viewer. We're still working. We would like to add an option for nano service creation and some template designer, and support multiple packages. Uh, a short story. A friend of mine, a very good C++ developer, once told me when I asked him why you always use text editor and not IDE. So he told me he thought other C++ developer will thought of him as a new if he used the IDE. So do you see that community cultural pressure is there on him? At least that pressure is not on us, right? So, and VS Code offers lot of extensions like that on the editor. So that way the environment of different editors and shortcuts will remain same. So it helps developers to move to the VS Code. So we would like to request you to try out these extensions with VS Code and let us know your feedback and suggestions. The next I have, oh yeah, important links. Marketplace link for the developer ID and Explorer. Uh, a link for our Python make package demo and our channel where you can send us the feedback. Uh, yeah, that's all I had for my session. Thank you very much.